Hi, boys and girls. This week in math, we're going to be doing some more with shapes, but this week we're talking about a different type of shape. The shapes we're talking about this week are called 3D. 3D stands for three-dimensional. Last week we learned about two-dimensional shapes or flat shapes. This week our shapes are three-dimensional and they are not flat. This document has some different pictures and words that I want you to focus on when you're working on your 3D shapes this week. You can come back to it, or you can rewatch this video if you need to. So let's look at this first image. It says that 3D shapes are different from 2D shapes because they're not flat. So this little poem is a good reminder, so let's read it together. 3D shapes are fat, not flat. A cone is like a party hat. A sphere is like a bouncing ball. A prism is like a building tall. A cylinder is like a can of pop. A cube is like the dice you drop. 3D shapes are here and there. 3D shapes are everywhere. So 3D shapes are actually things that you can hold and touch. Flat shapes are only able to be drawn on paper, okay? So if you draw a triangle on paper, that's 2D. If you're holding a cone, that is 3D. It's something you can touch, okay? So this is a good rhyme to help you remember what each of those shapes are like. Remember, when we describe shapes, just like we did last week, we want to use defining attributes. Not all triangles are blue, so I can't say that triangles are always blue. That's not something I would use to describe it. I could say that triangles always have three sides because that is a defining attribute. When we're talking about defining attributes of 3D shapes, this is what we use. The vertex or vertices are the corners. It's where the faces meet. The face is the flat surface, okay? So this shape here is a cube, and it is made out of multiple rectangles or squares. So each face is a rectangle or a square, and you put them together to make a cube. And the edge is where the two faces meet. So if you look down here, in 2D figures, they're flat, they're tall, and they're wide. But with 3D figures, there's three different dimensions: how tall they are, how wide they are, and how deep they are, okay? So like I said, this cube is made out of multiple squares. It actually takes 6 squares put together to make a cube. So the vertex or the vertices are the corners, the edges are the sides of the face, and the face is the flat shape that's used to make it up, okay? Down here are some charts that tell you about the defining attributes of different shapes. So here's the cube, okay? Like I said, it's made of 6 squares put together. There's 8 vertices and 12 edges, and it's flat and straight. Some examples might be an ice cube or a dice or a box. A cone, remember, is like a party hat, like an ice cream cone or a nail or a traffic cone. Spheres are like balls. There's no points, there's no edges, and there's no faces. They're smooth all over. So your head is like a sphere, cherries, an apple, orange, meatball, balls. A rectangular prism is like a building tall. So a rectangular prism is made out of 6 faces, just like the cube, but it's long like a rectangle. That's the difference there, okay? And a cylinder is like a can of soup or a can of soda, okay? It has 2 circles, and then it's round. So there's no points or edges because 2 of the ends are circles, okay? Here's another chart. This one includes a triangular prism, which we do not need to worry about in first grade, but it's good to know about it. Also, we don't really do much with pyramids. So I just wanted to give you an example because you might see those shapes in other grades. But this picture right here really includes the solids that we will be learning about. These are the 4 that you should really focus on: cubes, rectangular prisms, cones, and cylinders. You should be able to name and draw all of those shapes. This week on our newsletter, I've included links to some different books and videos and seesaw activities to help you practice. If you need some extra help, let me know and I'm happy to help you. I hope you enjoy learning about 3D shapes this week.